Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something we all use constantly, but maybe don't think about too much.
Right.
How sentences work when the subject of one verb isn't actually spoken out loud for another verb.
Yeah, those hidden connections.
We're digging into understanding linguistic control structures today. The mission for you listening is really to get a handle on these core ideas, beyond just reading the sentences.
Exactly. Like when you say, I want to relax. Simple enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't say, I want me to relax. We just understand it's you who wants and you who will relax.
Oh.
That's control right there.
Okay, so it's about these unsaid subjects.
So that's what we're exploring, how they actually function.
So the paper kicks off comparing control and raising constructions. What's the basic difference we need to grasp?
Okay, so it boils down to the role of the subject, like who's doing what.
Mm-hmm.
In control, take want to relax. Again, the I is doing the wanting and I is doing the relaxing. There's agency in both.
Right, same actor.
But with raising, like, I seem tired, it's different. I'm not actively seeming, you know.
Yeah.
It's more like, it seems that I am tired, that it just gets kind of moved or raised to the front. But I'm not performing the action of seeming. It's a subtle but a really fundamental difference in the grammar.
So control involves shared agency, even with a silent subject.
Yeah.
And that silent subject, that's PRO. Right?
Exactly, PRO. Think of it as like a silent pronoun, a placeholder in that second part. So I want to relax is grammatically sort of like, I want PRO to relax.
A silent placeholder.
Yeah, it's unpronounced, but it's doing grammatical work behind the scenes. It makes the structure make sense.
Okay, a crucial little ghost in the machine. Now, the paper mentions obligatory versus optional control. Sometimes PRO has to be someone specific.
Right. Think of it like grammar giving orders versus grammar giving suggestions. Obligatory control means PRO must link back to a specific noun phrase in the sentence.
Okay.
So if I say, I told Sarah to leave, who's leaving?
It has to be Sarah.
Has to be. The grammar forces it. That's obligatory control. Specifically object control here because Sarah is the object.
Makes sense. And optional.
Optional is looser. If I say something like, it's important to eat well, who's doing the eating?
Could be anyone, really. Me, you, people in general.
Exactly. The grammar doesn't force a link to someone specific already mentioned. That's optional control, much more open.
Got it. Obligatory is a strict rule. Optional is flexible. So when it is obligatory, how do we usually, figure out who PRO refers back to? Is it the subject or the object?
Good question. It often depends on the main verb. The meaning of that first verb is key.
Ah, the verb itself.
Yeah, verbs like want, try, hope, promise, they usually have subject control.
Meaning the subject of want is the one doing the next action?
Right. I hope to travel. I am hoping, and I am the one who plans to travel.
Okay.
But verbs like persuade, tell, ask, order, those often have object control. I asked him to help.
So he is the one who's supposed to help?
Precisely. The object of asked controls the PRO subject of to help.
That feels pretty intuitive, actually, when you break it down by verb meaning. So why can't we just say the subject out loud? Like, I want myself to relax, or I told Sarah herself to leave. Why the need for this silent PRO?
That gets into the deep syntax of English. Essentially, for these specific structures, a control verb followed by to in another verb, the grammar just doesn't license an overt spoken subject in that slot. It's a structural constraint. You just can't put an explicit pronoun or noun there in standard English.
One of those just because rules of grammar, then.
Sort of. Though linguists have theories about why the constraint exists, relating to case assignment and other deeper principles. But for practical purposes, it's a rule of these constructions.
Okay. And is this whole PRO thing universal? Do all languages handle this silence the same way?
Oh, definitely not. It's actually quite variable. Many languages have ways to deal with implied subjects, sure, but the exact mechanisms...
Different tools.
Yeah, exactly. Some might use different verb forms. Some might allow overt pronouns where English doesn't. Some might have different rules about what controls what. It's a neat area of cross-linguistic study.
So no universal PRO.
Interesting. Now, you mentioned groups earlier implicitly. What about exhaustive versus partial control?
Right. This comes up mainly with plural controllers. So if you say, the committee decided to meet next week.
Okay, the whole committee decided.
And presumably the whole committee, or at least the deciding quorum, is going to meet. That's exhaustive control. PRO refers to the entire committee.
Right.
But if you say, the students asked to leave early, it might not be all the students,
Yeah,
right?
could just be a few of them.
Exactly. PRO refers to a part of the group mentioned, the students. That's partial control. The meaning of the verb in the real-world context often help decide which one it is.
Subtle distinction.
Okay.
And is everyone in the field, like, totally on board with PRO? Is it settled science?
Oh, definitely not settled.
Definitely.
PRO is a very influential concept, a classic analysis, but it's debated.
Alternatives exist. Absolutely. There are other theories that try to account for these sentences without positing a silent PRO element at all. They might focus more on, say, direct relationships between the verbs, or different ideas about sentence structures, an active area of research.
Always more to figure out. Okay, last connection point. How does all this link up with theta theory?
Theta theory is all about semantic roles. Who's the agent, the doer, the patient, the undergoer, the experiencer, stuff like that. Roles assigned by the verb.
Right.
In control structures, the controller, the subject or object of the main verb, essentially gets two theta roles. It gets one role from the main verb, like wanter in I want, and it's understood to also get a role from the lower verb via PRO, like relaxer in to relax.
So one noun phrase, two jobs, semantically speaking.
Pretty much, it's doing double duty in the meaning of the sentence.
Okay, wow. That's a lot packed into sentences we use all the time. So let's recap the big takeaways. We've got these control structures where a subject is understood but not said.
Involving the concept of PRO, this silent placeholder.
Right. And this PRO's reference can be dictated by the grammar that's obligatory control, linked to the subject or object.
Or it can be more open optional control.
And even with groups, PRO can refer to the whole group or just part of it, exhaustive versus partial.
And while PRO is a major way to think about it, it's not the only game in town linguistically.
It all connects back to how verbs assign meaning roles, too.
You got it. It shows how much complex grammatical computation is happening beneath the surface of everyday language.
It really does. So for you listening, here's something to chew on. Just start noticing how often this happens, how often you understand exactly who's supposed to be doing something in a sentence, even when they're not mentioned out loud.
Yeah, pay attention when you read or talk today.
You'll probably be surprised how pervasive these silent structures are, quietly making communication work.